Hello and welcome to ET Studios HR Tech Connect in association with ETHR World. I'm your host Hemanshi Tewari. Now in this episode, we'll talk about the importance of technology in one of the most critical aspects of HR, that is talent acquisition, and how can technology and various HR automation tools and solutions can actually help in streamlining the whole talent acquisition process. Without any further ado and with great pleasure, I would like to invite our guests, Ranjan Pandey, CHRO Fortis Healthcare, and Babita Karki, CHRO NIIT. It's a pleasure to have you both here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
So at the onset, I would like to start this conversation by understanding your views on the scope of HR tech and where do we stand right now. Maybe we can start with you, Ranjan.
So there's hardly any process in HR which doesn't use technology, right from recruitment, onboarding, your employee engagement, PMS, data analytics, each and every learning and development. Each and every aspect of HR, uses technology in some bits and pieces. So that does not necessarily mean that it is only run by technology. You have to have some element of human interface in it also.
All right, maybe Babita, let's get you in this as well. So what are your views on the scope of HR tech, of course, and how it has actually changed the whole talent acquisition landscapes post-pandemic especially?
Absolutely. So in fact, as Ranjan mentioned, every area of HR, has been influenced by HR tech, has benefited by HR tech, let me say that. And if you specifically look at the talent acquisition part, each stage of the talent acquisition function has benefited. It has completely been transformed by use of HR tech. So if you look at the stages at the time when the job description is done, so that's a starting phase. At that, and it no longer you need to think of the laborious task of having to create job descriptions. You can just approach generative AI and you can look at drafting a very compelling job description in a matter of a few seconds. Right. Then when you look at the sourcing of candidates, the HR tech has enabled so many external platforms. There are so many online platforms which we can use internally and source candidates globally. Similarly, there are the internal job postings that we can use, again with the support of HR technologies, right? And when we do that, one is the efficiency part of it that it builds in. The other is the experience, the accuracy, the speed, freeing up HR members for being able to do other tasks, right? Then we also have the employee referral programs, for example. It is technology which is enabling us to be able to use all of these programs so beautifully. In fact, in NIIT, more than 20% of the hiring is done through employee referral program, okay? And that's primarily because the technology is supporting it, right? And then when we look at the screening of candidates, again for the screening of candidates we are using technology throughout, so whether it is the automated screening that is being done by the applicant tracking systems, or it is the parsing that the tracking systems do, or the AI that is getting used by those systems, all aspects are using HR tech, right? And then when we look at selecting the candidates, the assessments that are given to candidates are through technology.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you made on CV parsing and how AI is now being used for all these stuff. But I'll circle back to this question in a while. But I would like to know, as you rightly pointed out, that talent acquisition is not a one-step process, right? And it starts from actually sourcing candidates to tracking, and much more steps are involved in this. So as a CHRO, what a perfect onboarding process looks like?
So if I would say a perfect onboarding process, a perfect onboarding process is not a one-step process. Again, that's multi-steps. It starts with the pre-onboarding, which is before the person has been selected, but before the person joins the company, what is it that you do? So the fact that you send a welcome video or something like that to the person to engage the person, You look at the the access being available to the person to be able to enroll in the benefits programs. You are able to send reading materials, etc., to engage the person. That's the first part of it, the pre-onboarding. And when the person joins, that is when the orientation takes place, where a senior executive from the company can take the group, the entire group that has joined, through what the company's vision is, the mission is, what the company is all about, take them through that. Then there are compliance trainings, mandatory trainings, meeting the leadership teams, all those happen. And then after that can be business specific orientation, where they start understanding their specific goals, their career plans, their specific training needs, all of those are done. And once all that is done, then the last part of it, or rather a continual is the fact that there is a continuous interaction with the managers, with the HRs, with the buddies, for the person to be continuously engaged and oriented in the company.
All right. All right. Maybe let's get you in as well, Ranjan. So how do you see a perfect onboarding process?
So, after the selection process, this is the first interface of the candidate with the organization. So, it is here that the candidate decides whether he has landed in the right place or not. So, it is our responsibility as employers to ensure that we give the best experience to the individual. So, use of technology along with some personal interface is required to give him the best experience, so that he feels that yes, I have landed in the right place.
Yeah. All right. Ranjan, as Babita rightly pointed out on how the new technologies, whether it's ChatGPT, Metaverse, AI, ML, or any new technology for that matter, helps in CV passing and hiring candidates. So, how do you think in these new technologies can actually help in better designing of the onboarding process, and how these technologies can actually help in creating a better candidate experience that you both were talking about?
In selecting a candidate, CV parsing is very, very important from the organization perspective, and technology does play an important role in that. But along with that, we must also remember that there could be some subjective elements which we have to get into, so that we don't miss out on the right candidates. So we have to, like I said earlier, we have to use a blend of both technology and interface. We use a lot of portals for our mass hirings and all. Although we pull out a lot of resumes and all, but at the end of the day, we have to have a human or a recruitment manager go through each and every one of them to ensure that we don't get the wrong person. Even when we in recruitment, we use all these psychometric tests and all. So you may get a result which is as accurate as 75%, 80%, but you may have to look deeper through your eyes to understand where we are. Is this the right way? So you may have to question them and see whether this report is accurate or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, HR itself essentially stands for human resource. So we cannot negate the human angle from HR, and rather using tech for empowering HR functions than overpowering it.
It is a facilitator. It is a facilitator.
Yeah. So, but it often happens when a human factor is involved. There's a lot of hiring biases or judgmental decision makings, So how can the technology factor help in reducing those biases in judgmental hiring?
So you can reduce that by having psychometric tests, which are basically run through systems and all. You can also give them situational reviews and all, so that you understand what is the real individual looking like. So I think these can also help you. It can't be a conclusive way, but it can help you.
All right, Babita, let's get you in this as well. And apart from this, what biases do you see often as an HR person?
Okay. So I'll first add to what Ranjan said. So when so the way the subjectivity, yes, definitely. So when humans do it, there is subjectivity in the process, And the subjectivity can be in terms of our own biases, which may be unconscious biases about gender, about religion, about caste, about any of those biases. So when we use these automated systems, so maybe let us say the applicant tracking system. So when you use that system, the AI in those systems is programmed to be able to avoid those biases and provide a diverse set of profiles. So that is like one step where those biases can be avoided. Other than that, the assessments, the skill based assessments. So when we do skill based assessments or we do psychometric assessments, they provide a very scientific data to be able to assess the candidates, right. And the other kind of, but having said that, when we say technology to eliminate biases, technology itself can also perpetuate bias. Right. So, because the technology or the AI is based on the data on which it is formed, right. And if that data is, it has biases in the past usage, then AI will carry the same data, right. So, it becomes our responsibility to be able to validate the use of systems from time to time to ensure that biases have not perpetuated in the systems. So, we have to keep taking care of those biases.
Yeah, of course, technology cannot inherit personal biases, but there have been a lot of discussions around it as well on how technology can actually produce biased results based on the training data, right? So, you have already answered that question, but I would like to know from you, Ranjan, how this technology bias can be eliminated. And when we speak about, keeping a balance between the human angle and technology, how it is relevant in this angle?
So, you should use it for places where you are sure that this is the right instrument. In spite of using a psychometric test, we are also meeting the individual, and there would be aptitude test at times in organizations. You have to see a blend of all of these, and then take a call. I don't think any organization takes a call on just a psychometric test or just one selection criteria. So you take a blend of all this and then take a call on the candidate.
Absolutely. And also you have to keep training the members, the recruiters, the HR members to be aware of all the biases that could be there in the system, so that we are not completely relying only on technology. We are in parallel also doing the the human resource part or the personal part to be able to take care of the biases.
All right. Then what two solutions you will give when I ask you about removing the subjective element from hiring decisions and making better hiring decisions?
So, I think one of the solutions would be to be let us say investing in an applicant tracking system. So, when you have an applicant tracking system, then the system is AI based, and so when the job posting is done through that system, when the resumes get posted in that system, it has an automatic parsing and an automatic evaluation of those resumes basis the job description that is provided to be able to filter out and give the best fit profiles, so that the human angle or the subjectivity angle gets eliminated. That is one way of doing that. The other is the focus on skill based assessments. So, when we do skill based assessments, then again the subjectivity is not there, because we are looking at what the scores are to be able to take decisions.
Yeah, and Ranjan, you?
Yeah, I agree with Babita, and apart from that, like I have always been saying that you have to have more and more of a human interface. However, in mass recruitment, it really becomes difficult. So you can do it on a sample basis to ensure that things are working in the right direction.
All right, but do you think that to keep a balance between HR and technology is a tough act right now for organizations with so many technologies coming in?
Yes, it is. But it will become more and more comfortable the moment people get used to it, and that can only happen after continuous training. There are people who use psychometric tests without knowing the left and right of it. So if you are using any of these psychometric tools, or for that matter any technological tool, you should know how to use it. If you don't know how to use it, then you are playing with the careers of your potential employees.
Yeah. And how these technologies can actually help in candidate experience, which we were talking about earlier.
So candidate experience, when the individual is applying for an organization, for him this is the organization, or for that matter when an individual is about to join your organization, it is the organization for him. So it is our responsibility to ensure that he gets the best of experience. Here again you can use technology for communication and all, like Babita said in the beginning. So continuous communication with the individual. Many organizations are also using chatbots and all. So chatbots can give answers to many things which you may feel a bit awkward in asking. So you should have chatbots and all. And apart from that, you must have dedicated resources who can in person answer certain queries.
So Babita, like Ranjan said, a lot of organizations are using chatbots, but somewhere down the line it is also killing the human angle, which is the basic foundation of human resource. So how much of AI should be used and how much of human angle should be there while implementing these technologies and maintaining a better candidate experience?
See, when we use chatbots and all, chatbots take care of the transactional part of the data, right? They'll be able to respond to things that are fed in the chatbot. So those are the aspects which chatbots will continue to take care of. But when it comes to engagement, when it comes to defining strategies for the person, defining strategies for HR, defining those strategies, those are the times when it is the human who will keep doing it. Yeah. So as HR, we are very clear that we have the AI, we have technology, but technology is meant to be used. We are not dependent on technology. We have to use technology, but we cannot leave things to technology. So whether it is chatbots, whether it is the ATS, or whether it is anything, we have to keep monitoring it, because otherwise there can be flaws and we'll have to live with the results.
So monitoring the technology, because of course there can be possible malfunctions and we cannot risk it with candidate experience, because it is being said like people who are not even hired are really very important. Even their experience is really important because they act as the brand ambassadors for your organization, right? So what would you say, Ranjan, how to maintain a proper candidate experience even for the people who are not being hired in your organization?
So what we do in our organization, we call a lot of people for interviews. We have mass recruitments for nurses, doctors. So I always advise my HR heads to get back to them if possible through a letter stating that for so and so reason we are not able to process your candidature. It gives them a comfort. Even when you are not selected, you at least feel comfortable that yes, maybe I'm not the right fit for the organization. And this can be fully automated. I don't think you need lots of human effort for that, but the experience it gives is very big. So you should try to do that. You can also try to fit them in other roles if possible. You are not fit for this role, we'll try you in another role, if and this particularly happens based on interaction with individuals and all.
All right, but do you think that personalization factor also matters while speaking to candidates?
Yes, it does, and in fact that is what actually matters. Today the younger generation are fully aware what is being done through technology and what is being done through human, and if an organization is investing time on individuals, it has a different kind of meaning and impression on the potential candidates.
All right, Babita, let's get you in this as well.
Yeah, so personalization certainly is very important, and in fact we can also use technology to personalize. Okay. Because we feed in templates in the data, right? And when those emails are sent to individuals saying at this point this is the email to be sent and this is the email to be sent, they look like very, very personalized and time invested emails. That is one part of it. Then other than that, when employees are onboarded in the organization at the time of orientation, we can look at personalized learning plans for them, adapted learning plans for them, so that depending on the competency that they are at, we are able to advance it to the next stage with the use of understanding of them, with the use of that personalization.
All right, but rightly said that personalization does matter when it comes to candidate experience, and we can actually use technology to get personalized results. But every technology comes up with possible malfunctions, right? So how do you mitigate those malfunctions, and what are the challenges actually you witness while implementing these technologies? Maybe it can be an ATS system or any other technology that you use for talent acquisition.
Certainly, talent, the technology does, malfunction at times. So, when we look at, either a website, or we look at a ATS system, or we in fact look at even internet for that point in time, right. So, even they can have a flaw to say bandwidth is an issue, or the system is not working. All of those things, they happen, and candidates come back and they report saying, system was not working, I tried doing this, or this assessment stopped at this point, and so on. All of these things are real, they happen, and that is the time that we talk to them and make them aware of the fact that this has happened, and this is an alternative approach to doing that. Right. And the good thing is that all the individuals now are very aware, and they are avid users of technology. So, they understand that these are flaws that are associated, and in fact, if we were not to have a very technology enabled method of hiring, that is something that may upset individuals. So, right now it is technology enabled to the extent that they can use even their mobile phones to be able to respond to a job request. They can use their mobile phones to be able to fill in the data. Had it not been that, if they were to send things on emails and so on, I don't think that will leave a good experience, because the Gen Z and the Gen Y, they do look for technology.
Yeah. The new generation depends on technology more than we think now. Yes, so it's absolutely important for candidate experience. But Ranjan, let's get you in this as well, on what are the challenges that you feel are there when you implement a certain technology in talent acquisition.
It's very important to give your best while you're designing a technology, but it may so happen that even by giving your best, there could be flaws, like Babita said. You should have or at least try to have better controls and all, and before actually releasing it, I think you should do ample tests and all, so that it is minimized and and all. But again with technology, you really never know what will go wrong. But I think to prevent it by doing internal tests and all, and better controls is important.
All right, that's wonderful. I mean, there has to be a check whenever we implement a technology, and we cannot totally rely on technology, right? Whether it's a candidate, it is about candidate experience or about the first step of the recruitment. So, as the discussion come to an end, there has been a lot we have talked about. What are your key 3 takeaways when we talk about HR tech in talent acquisition, and whatever the discussion we had on technology and how much we should rely on technology and without eliminating the human angle of human resource?
So, I think what is important is the human part of it, to say the blending of the human and the technology part. That is one thing which is very important, because we cannot sway on any one side, right? That is important. Second, very important to continue to use technology, because that is something that will give the efficiency, that is something that will give effectiveness, that is something that will give experience, right? And other than this, using technology like an ATS is very crucial now, especially when it comes to mass recruitment, and also when we want to be able to tap global audiences, because then these days people are agnostic of where they are residing to be able to apply for a job. They don't need to be worried about the place of work, etc. So, technology enables us to do all of that. So, almost crucial to be using technology to make things happen.
Yeah, but maintaining the human angle as
maintaining
well.
the human angle, that blend is a must.
Yeah, of course. Ranjan, your views?
Yeah, so there is no doubt that technology is here to stay, and so while organizations implement technology, it's also very important to train the people who are using it, train the users if they are external candidates and all. So apart from this, I think a blend of human interface and technology is also very important.
All right, all right. Thank you for your views, Babita and Ranjan. It was a great conversation with you, and I'm going with the takeaway that there has to be a balance between the human angle, which is the very essential foundation of human resource, and of course technical, because we cannot ignore the technology part, considering the world we live in now. So thank you for your views. It was a great conversation.
Thank you so much, Hemanshi. Thank you.
It is evident that HR automation is the game changer when it comes to talent acquisition. And we have just scratched the surface in this series. Over the course of this series, we'll delve deeper into the other aspects of employee life cycle and talk about how automation can help in improving employee experience.